As you venture a little bit further to the north in this cavern, you all will basically start to come across like piles of bones on the left and right side of you to the east and west of you. And the piles basically have a walking trail up towards that edge of the ice. And effectively, on the end of the actual ice is where you will find one of the boats kind of left to the side, just a little bit of evidence that they were drug into this area. No actual bodies, nothing actually inside of the boat, but more or less kind of seeing this area, you all now have a sense of basically bodies were brought in, slaughtered around that giant that you all found earlier, and then probably prepared inside of that massive cauldron. And when everything was kind of prepared, the bones were sort of just scattered to the north there. And with kind of that initial thought, that's kind of where you all are. And then you can kind of decide how you'd like to progress forward a little bit more from this moment. We're effectively about that minute mark after you all initially encountered, or rather woke up, the frost giant skeleton. You have quite a bit of time with the actual berserkers left. The orc war chief is basically like on the verge of I think you summon like a corporeal version of him. I think it's actually him. So I feel like he's just going to disappear. I'm not really sure like the nature of how he comes into existence and leaves existence. But the magic is going to wear off shortly here.
So without being too meta, are we like done with this area to where we don't need the berserkers anymore, or are we still gonna like play as if we have them?
I mean, quite honestly, the Berserkers were a perfect example of how you break action economy. I don't think there's any function of anything being able to even remotely challenge you all while you have those. Um, Effectively, with what is that, 10 people? There's like nothing short of throwing. I mean, that skeleton was CR8 or CR6. That thing was a massive creature to have to fight, and it stood no chance against you. It's pretty insane to imagine what could even potentially trouble you all while you have access to them. Um, and that's kind of like the meta version of answering that question.
I got you.
Realistically, there's potentially stuff you all could still discover in this cavern, depending on what sort of choices you all would like to make. If you have any interest in making said choices, it's somewhat up to you all how you want to progress here, though.
I think we should start off by heading up to the north side of this cave. It's the only area we've not explored yet, right? I'm sure we can be pretty confident in what's happened to the. Oh, sorry, I'm doing a stupid voice. Sorry, you guys know who I am. I think we should go. Yeah, we haven't confirmed where the fishermen are yet, and I can assume she probably ate them. But there might be stuff up there, and you never know. Might find some free fishing equipment.
Wait, was that Faint getting tired of doing the voice, or was that Josh getting tired of doing the voice?
Well, that was faint because he knows that obviously his party don't need to be tricked
Okay, I'm
anymore.
super stoked for that moment, so I just wanted to make sure.
All right, okay. I mean, he'll still have to do it in front of generic NPCs, especially if he wants to get served in bars, even though he's of legal age. But
Oh,
it'll
that
be
makes everything better though, because now you have three voices,
alright. Right, for that, I'll just switch to permanent or Hark the Goat voice forever.
and none of them are the French accent.
Oh yeah, the Nile voice that was continuously European region esque, but never with one specifically.
It was very amusing.
Well, I'm glad I provided entertainment. Wait until you hit when I get the perfected bard. That's when you're in for a real treat.
Yes, I think you are right, my friend. There appears to be more of this game that we can discover. A path to the north, and perhaps a T in the road, not too far back here. We should investigate while we still have our Chewinga friends with us.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Chewing
You know,
gum?
Chewinga, you know, the little people, we've seen them a couple of times before. You got that sick ass horn that just did everything and you had your war. We should discuss that later about where you got the war horn from because that was an old thing as well. But my point is, still cave left to discover. We should go have a look up north and see what we can find because we've not seen everything here yet.
Did one of them get killed, Justin?
Of course not. They're invincible.
Why are there only 6? Did I lose one at some point?
I sent him off to go investigate the cave and find me some loot. So maybe he's still
He's
investigating.
dead.
No, I don't know. I don't know why there's only 6 now.
Oh.
I was vaguely thinking there were 7, so that.
It was definitely 7 originally. I had 2, Jamie had 2, and then Justin had 3. And let me get my calculator to make sure that's 7.
So yeah, I think go to the north and explore a little bit.
So as you all explore towards the north, heading out onto the ice, you actually start to see within the ice that there are in fact many giants that are just below the ice. They are all varying levels of skeletal, but very much. I think most of them would be fully skeletal, whereas the other one still had like some flesh on it. These are very much like skeletonized giants, frozen in the ice. All of them. Let me have an intelligence from everybody.
Sorry, looking up my intelligence.
Was that D20 though? Oh yeah, that was from before.
Also, before I forget, I'm going to frisk this bitch.
No, we're all
Do an
stupid.
investigation. Yeah, they all appear to be the same, like depth in the ice, like size-wise, they're all pretty similar. Roll a D3 for me, Faint.
Crushing it.
You find she has a purse on her with 150 copper, 100 silver, and 10 gold pieces.
Alright, cheers. I'll just divide that by 3 now.
I want to keep my eyes out for wherever like a bunch of fishermen's like gear or personal effects might be located, as we kind of explore around here, so we can potentially like retrieve and take back like stuff to show that we found the cause.
Yeah, I still vote we cut off the head of this old bitch and the head of the big bony guy. I mean, if we can't transport the whole thing back, maybe all the Tringers can help us carry it out, but behead it, take the big rotten head, show that we've killed something big. They'll all love us in town, right?
I don't want to carry it. It's gross.
I'll carry it then. It's not a big deal. Just don't think about how gross it is. Just think about how sick everyone's going to think we are. It's going to be amazing. We're going to get given free booze. It's going to be great.
The keel of the boat has its name painted on it, so you could break off the keel of the boat and take that back with you.
Is the boat like still intact?
It looks roughly intact.
The boat here is still in decent shape. It may float. Perhaps we should take it back, or at least advise the townspeople that they may retrieve it.
Jamie, guess what the name is?
Dunno. Fish boat?
Pretty close. Bunch o' Knuckleheads. Sorry, I love how adverse you are to the fact that there's only fish to eat here.
Actually, at some level, I'm surprised there's even fish. I don't know how they can get the fish. Like, it's really cold in the water. Don't the fish, like, go south or something?
Except for that many of these are lakes, I'm pretty sure that trout are indeed like kind of ice water fish. They're one of like the only fish that stays relatively active while the rivers are freezing.
So yeah, if the boat looks like it'll still float, I'm not gonna actually like break it apart. We'll just like tell them about it when we get back.
Yeah, and 100%, I'm going to behead both of them before we leave.
Perhaps we can attach the rope to the heads and float them behind us in the water. It should help with the smell, keep them cold and perhaps frozen.
Maybe, but my only concern is that giant's head's already pretty fucked up. If we let it get any worse, they might think we've just cut off one one's already dead. We want them to know that we killed it, you know? It's already going to be a hard sell convincing people that we killed an undead giant, you know?
I think the frost giant's head would probably pretty well fill up the canoe or fill up the rowboat. So at this point, if you all are bringing that rowboat behind you, you're probably able to fill it up with that head, and probably put the witch's head in there as well.
It's a big ass head.
So you're just like little kids walking around with the red flyer, only it's a bunch of knuckleheads, and in particular, it's actually a frost giant and a hag.
Sounds good then. We will have a cart boat behind us, towed full of heads of all of our fallen enemies.
You're not going to do what your brother did and, like, skin it and add it to his armor, is he? Or are you?
The heads that he carried around, those skulls, they were not of enemies he defeated at battle. Those were sacred relics. It is in our religion to save the bones of those who have fallen.
All right. Well, here's a weird one for you. And it might be a bit soon, so just, move on if I'm overstepping. But why did we burn your brother and you didn't behead him and wear his skull? Just putting it out there, just dead quick.
Once you have betrayed the faith and your bloodline, there is no reason for your ancestors to keep your remains.
All right, cool. I was just interested. I didn't want to, overstep any lines. So, but yeah, makes sense. Get it. But be honest with you, I did quite like the guy. So,
He certainly had his pluses, but he went down the dark path, and I like to think that he is in a better place now. And besides, if his situation did not unravel the way it did, then perhaps we would have never met. And I'm glad that we did.
yeah, sure. Me, you, and little one over there who's just seemingly come out of nowhere. I find that to be the most mysterious thing ever. We know nothing about you, little one.
And you're not going to hear it either.
Yeah. Damn, that's mysterious.
I gotta go heat up some food. I've got the volume turned up, though.
That's code for Paris right now is chewing on zombie head. Om, 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 om.
What's the worst that can happen?
So you all are standing on top of this frozen area with frost giants beneath it. You have a canoe with 2 decapitated heads inside of it, and you still have a bunch of your Chwinga berserkers.
So it's like pretty obvious that this small path to our southwest just connects right back to where we were. Nothing like interesting down there.
Safe to assume it is indeed.
And then what about these 2 dead ends up like to the north east?
You can see that there is another basically like waterfall on that northwestern one. And it seems like the river kind of continues a little bit into a small cavern. And then in the northeast, that is kind of just like a little bit of a landing. At some point, perhaps the water was high enough that it went up on that area. But at this point, it's just kind of a frozen little zone.
So I'll head up towards like that other little waterfall, see how big of a climb it looks like, and if there's anything to investigate up there.
More or less simple. You can do a dex check. Oh, wait a second. I think that one was the strength check. Your strength is +2. Oh, okay, you did the strength. So yeah, climbing up, you snap off like a big chunk of ice, but otherwise you kind of just stumble back, but you're able to catch your fall. You don't like fall prone, you don't injure yourself at all, but you just snap off a little bit of the ice, and it would be harder to climb back up, but it is otherwise still accomplishable. Did you want to try again?
Oh, you're saying I failed. Yeah, I'll try again.
So this time you're able to climb up, and you can see at least a good way down this corridor. There's somewhat of a cave that you could perhaps go further into.
All right, I'll just go looking around up there, see what I see.
Do a perception for me. Moving into the cave, after you kind of look around for a while, you can probably head about like 40 or 50 feet inside of the cave. And it doesn't appear to have anything in here. After a while, it seems like the water goes like into the actual stone. But there's nothing to here, like the river itself is frozen. So wherever it came from, it seems to be frozen underground as well.
There is nothing up here. It's a dead end. I will rejoin the party.
Did you find any non-human soup? Because I'm getting hungry and not for fish.
Nothing but more snow and ice. Perhaps we should continue to the west.
That's fine by me. Maybe you want to send your Tringa horde ahead of us to make sure it's okay?
Of course, you can use them as a Twinga meat shield.
Faint, roll a perception.
$21.
It was a really nice cauldron.
Yeah, but definitely human bits, so not having it. But I do hate fish, and I am getting hungry, but gonna leave it. Not eating human.
So you all can push forward. In this general area, there's just some kind of zigzags and movements inside of this frozen river. In general, it doesn't really seem to have a whole lot to explore. Eventually, you do come up that there is a bridge above you, and it kind of reconnects to where you all eventually avoided coming, following the boat tracks basically through this little zone.
Did we find where the boats were?
It was just like the one that you guys have the skulls in right now.
Okay, and the fishermen were in the pot. Got it.
Yep, pretty safe to say that the bones are somewhere in the pile.
Well, a job well done, guys. I guess we can head on back and collect our bountiful, plentiful pile of gold as a reward for doing this.
Do you remember when we got here, there were a couple of caves up, elevated higher. I wonder if they were the nest of the harpies or perhaps something else where they look.
Maybe, but when they plucked little Paris here, they flew off in the other way, didn't they? So
Perhaps we should spend a moment while we are here. This is a big place, and I'm not sure we would ever return. So,
maybe, but it looks like that pathway going overhead there, that just connects to one of the caves.
is that what it looks like? It just goes up above our heads. How high up is that?
It's probably a solid, like 15 feet above your heads. About 20 feet over the ice.
And is it like a built bridge, or is it just like a weird anomaly, like Ice Spirit Bridge?
It's definitely frozen over with ice. I think you'd probably see that there's some level of the stone kind of ate through, or the water ate through the stone. So it's probably stone underneath.
My curiosity would have the best of me if I don't at least take a look. I will use this grappling hook from my brother. It has come in handy quite a few times. I think one more time, perhaps. So I'm gonna like pull out the rope with the grappling hook on it, give it like a couple like 360 spins, and try to throw it up onto the ice bridge so I can climb up.
You're trying to like hook the bridge, or are you throwing the grappling hook over so you can put a loop of rope over the bridge?
I'm trying to throw it over top the bridge and then get it to either come back down to me, so that I can like double it over on the rope itself and attach it, or it does it on its own.
I'm going to try and do a little side glance to make sure the grappling hook isn't made out of bones.
Is grappling hook made out of bones?
No, my brother bought it at the store, so unless they were selling bone grappling hooks, it's just a metal one.
I feel like a
Use the
hip would make a really good grappling hook. So, you're going to try to throw it over and get it back, but loop it over the bridge.
Yeah, just trying to loop it over top the bridge, and then I'm gonna wrap it like around itself, and then
Yeah, that won't even take a check. You can get a rope over that bridge like that, and the weight of the grappling hook makes it supremely easy to accomplish. So you basically have a rope up to the bridge.
I would like to climb said rope.
So just do a strength check. You find after a first few moments, you like get close to the top and end up kind of sliding backwards. Just having a little bit of difficulty, probably more towards the cold and the gloves that you're having to wear. But after a few minutes, you're able to make your way up there. And you can spot that there is a corridor that opens up to the west of you and seems to kind of jink out of the way. And then a corridor that opens up to the east of you, doing the same thing.
Would you care to join me up here, or I will just take a moment and explore the corridor?
Yeah,
I'll
I'll climb
come.
on up with you. Yeah, I'll climb the rope up.
So, strength check from somebody who's going next.
14.
Yep, so you are all able to successfully climb up to the top.
I'm assuming the west goes to the entrance of one of those caves we saw up there, so let's check to the east, you reckon?
Sounds good to me. Assuming we don't have a torch or whatever, or maybe one of them threw up a torch, or if we don't have one, I'll just light one.
I think Paris has a torch. I think you had light going. Don't you have actually light?
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I have light at the tip of my spear. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so right now I think the two of you are light sources. And you're heading to the east.
Yeah, go down east where it looks like a dead end.
Marching order?
I'll go first with my spear up in the air for light.
I'll go second then.
I guess that makes me laugh.
dies as the cavern crashes down.
This is where he puts in a boss because we've not got our triggers with us. Retribution for last week.
So you eventually walk into a small corridor that kind of opens up into an old camp. It doesn't seem to have been touched for quite some time. There's basically a bedroll inside of there, a small campfire that at some point was burned, and inside of the campfire there seems to be a leather journal, and you're able to find a couple of pieces of paper that have not fully been consumed by the fire.
Check it for valuables.
I'm going to try and read the paper.
It is not in a language that you speak.
I'm going to hand it to the others to see if either of them can read it.
Common Elvish.
As everybody glances over it, it's not in a language that anyone speaks.
It's just gibberish. Probably someone, having a psychotic episode on the back of pneumonia or something.
If you give me a second, I think Paris might actually recognize the type, but I just want to check this real quick. Yeah, so the script actually makes sense to you, Paris. Do a intelligence check for me. Just a DC of 5. It's written in Dwarvish.
Hey, I didn't think this was familiar, but looking a little bit closer, they're just kind of messy with their handwriting. It's written in Dwarvish.
You can make out certain words in it that seem to talk about frost giants. Make a religion check for me. You see like the word like drawings or some sort of art, perhaps. Like sacrifice. You see sacred. Maybe this is a sacred cavern for the frost giants, perhaps where they come to sacrifice. There's interesting script, maybe a wailing woman. Caves are a wailing woman. It doesn't really quite make sense. It's hard to kind of figure out what that page is about. And it seems perhaps this person encountered someone living here. Might be the wailing woman, perhaps Granny, and a song. And perhaps that's like the reason why this has been left abandoned, is it seems maybe this person figured out that somebody was here and explored a little bit too far.
Oh, somebody update ship advisor because we've just made this place a hotspot for visits again. Safe now. No longer an old wailing bitch in a cave. I reckon if we'd have come across this before we fought her, it would have been all ominous and dark. But instead, it's kind of funny, don't you think? She begged for her life.
Yes, I suspect to most that this would have been a deadly encounter, but with the blessing of the Chwingas of the land, we were protected. And of course, the Orc chieftain as well.
Oh, absolutely. The Chumbawambas and the Orc captain, war chief, they really, really were the MVPs in that one. Slow clap for those guys.
Yes, I think we owe our sweet friend Danica some thanks if we should come across her again.
Yeah, you'll have to blow your horns, or maybe, depending on the turn, or to blow each other's horns at the start of every battle so we can have them.
I'm not sure. It appears to have lost its luster, so to speak. I don't feel the same sort of itching at my side that I did before.
Yeah, what was that? I feel like they touched like your shoulder. I think it was on your shoulder blade, maybe, where it touched you.
I think it threw a tiny little whip around my neck and into my mouth and like rode me around like a little bit, like kind of
It
was on
did,
my
yeah.
shoulders. I think that's what happened.
I'm pretty sure you got a touch on your shoulder blade, where eventually you'll see that like there's not actually like it almost like was a tattoo, like kind of into your flesh, and it's basically not going to be there if you check. The warmth is kind of gone at present.
In my notes, I have that it jumped on my shoulder and rode me for 7 seconds, and I was unable to buck it off. Is that not right?
I feel like it is almost guaranteed that I did not say the Chwinga did that.
I've
Ah, you
written
might
mine.
be right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've written in my notes that it tried to climb inside your ear for a little bit.
That sounds a little bit more like a Chwinga.
Yeah.
IBS? We got you, IBS.
They do look a little bit like Q-tips, so it's possible. Did we investigate the rest of this area? Is there anything else of note, or else we would go probably to the west, maybe?
Yeah, as far as this little spot goes, that's pretty much all you have here. So moving off to the west, you all will start to eventually hear a little bit of wailing on the wind as you get to a little corridor here. And from that north, it sounds like there is a woman crying.
Maybe we didn't meet up with the wailing woman. Maybe this is the wailing woman.
Or it could be some kind of spell to scare people off. But either way, get the Trigger Horde up here. Let's get them up here. Get them up. And yeah, the War Chief is still here. Command them to climb that rope.
So you guys can walk forward, the cowards that you are, and you walk into a small cavern where there is wind. And the wind sounds like a wailing woman.
Is the wind blowing betwixt some odd rocks or across a sharp stone face or something?
Yeah, effectively inside of this like small little bit of the cavern, there's like iced over kind of mineral deposits in the center of this cavern. There's another way to the northwest of you, but otherwise it just seems like there's effectively like a whistle between the caverns coming off of Lake Dinashur.
Oh, well, if they aren't supporting anything, maybe we should get the Trigger Horde to smash them to bits, so then we can tick off on the list stopped ominous wailing noise as well.
Probably be better for tourism.
Yeah, I mean, it's a quaint cave. They can come and see the great sights of the frozen giants beneath the ice. But also, then we get minerals.
And does it look like both those eastward paths are just to the like cave openings?
So one of them you can take and see that it kind of leads off, and you're just kind of looking down towards the lake, and it's about 30 feet below you. If you head off into the other, you come into a small area. Let me have a religion check from everybody. Crushing that religion from the priest.
You're a priest, you're supposed to be getting 18s, man.
Paris, let me get an intelligence from you with advantage. So coming in here after reading the Dwarvish journal, you're able to figure out at least some of what it was talking about. That first page is kind of outlining the sacrifice of the frost giants and how this is a sacred place. When you walk into this room, you actually see that there are cave drawings on the wall, and they seem very crude. They seem to be in like a charcoal as well as a kind of like a, I think ochre is like a deep dark red, and it's like these two different colors kind of carved into the, or like drawn onto the wall, and you basically see these symbols of kind of like a stooped over hunched giant. They walk into this cave. They seem to lay down inside of this pool, and they're kind of like set down into the water, and then they seem to kind of like float to the bottom, like in another picture. And you basically see that on some level, the frost giants would come here. I think you kind of see a little bit of signs that there's, yeah, 14's pretty good. Little bit of signs that there's kind of like steam coming up from the pool. At some point, this was a hot springs, and it was part of their ritual death that the frost giants would come here. They would make their way into the pool. They would lay down, and that's where they would rest in peace. And that's what you all encountered at the northern side of her little den there. Those were not giants that she killed, but giants that came here to sacrifice themselves. And it's probably safe to say that the one that she had as a pet was one of those creatures, and she simply reanimated it.
I'm very interesting. I have noticed since I came to these lands, perhaps it is my openness with my religion and my God, my patronage, but I have not felt the same blessing. That is why I have, to some degree, embraced the powerful one. Or, as long as we are in her territory, it is important that we be open to her teachings.
Yeah, a lot of that went over my head, but religious shit sounds good, mate. Sounds good. Does this mean something to you, maybe, or do you just think that potentially this is just in honor of the endless night that goes on round here?
I'm not sure. It appears to basically be just some sort of accepted death or resting place for these creatures. I'm really not sure.
No hints as to end the whole aurora borealis specifically with this region all times a year?
Not to me specifically. We should continue on. I'm not sure how much time has passed, but we will have a treacherous journey home.
That's true.
We will no doubt be plagued by seagulls that attempt to eat our giant rotting heads.
I don't think we need to take the rotting head with us. It's really kind of disgusting. What are they going to do with it when we get it back to them?
So we able to tell at this point in time that did we see three entrances and now we're only seeing two? Like, would we know that we missed a spot?
You all saw 4 entrances on your way in here. You knew that there were 2 that were about 30 feet up in the air, and one that was about 20 feet, and then the one that was about ground level. So you all are vaguely aware that, yes, there is still another entrance from the caves, and on some level it would feel like you have not found an internal way to get to that cavern.
And do we know which height differential that cavern is, the one we have not explored?
I mean, if you go back outside, it's 20 feet up in the air.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and retrieve the grappling hook.
Like climbing down to the river again?
Yeah, just going back like the way we came, I think.
Is your curiosity satisfied?
Almost. We have nearly covered the ground, but there appears to be one more area we have yet to explore.
What's the access to it look like? Is it going to be something that's high up, or is it a bit lower down from the 2D map? It looks a bit like it's almost up a slope and then in, or is it a cliff face that's gradiented?
They're cliff face. You can do an investigation. Just tiny little scratch marks up the ice. It seems like you could probably make your way up it.
All right, pull out my pitons and I try and get up it.
Do you have an actual climbing kit?
I've got pitons. Yep.
Do you have a climbing kit?
What?
Pitons do not a climbing kit make. Do you have like a hammer and like is it a climbing kit or just you have pitons?
I have pitons.
Yeah, so you can't actually get those into the ice without like a hammer.
Why did it give me fucking pitons then? I thought you hold them in each hand like daggers and stab your way up.
Well, you're a rogue.
Oh,
They're
cool.
very useful for wedging into stuff.
Fucking rogues.
But if
I've
you
seen
have a
like
climbing
American.
kit,
It's like American Ninja Warrior.
if he has a climbing kit, yeah, sure.
No, he's like stabbing them into the side of the ice and climbing up.
You can make a strength check, Josh. Faint.
Can I try to throw my grappling hook again?
Most certainly.
20.
He just like walks up the ice as you're like preparing to throw the grappling hook.
Don't hit me with that bone hook.
So as you get to the top, you're able to see that there is a corridor in this cavern that leads at least a good bit away, probably about 20, 30 feet that you can see without actually investigating further down there. And then if he throws the grappling hook up to you, there's not really a good place to steady it, but you could certainly hold the rope and give them a solid chance to climb up.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So just do the help action, and one of you can make a strength check. Yeah, so you can make it up, and then you can basically do a help action for Paris to make her way up. And are you taking all of the Chwingas up?
Don't they just kind of float along with him?
No, they're actual people.
Twingas, stay down there and guard the heads. I will call for you if we need you.
So as y'all get towards the top here, you see that there is a large corridor that leads on for about 30 or so feet ahead of you until you lose the light, but you see that it seems to continue on beyond that.
Okay, I'll like hold my spear out in front of me and like kind of up to give us a little bit of light and just slowly progress forward.
So as you move further into the actual cavern, there's going to be a certain amount of stench of death. There's a stagnant level to this air. There's not wind. You no longer hear the actual like whistle of that moaning woman. And just the deeper you go in, the more and more it reeks of death. Until eventually you're going to have a little bit of a view ahead of you as this cavern's kind of opening up. Starting to move into the cavern, you see bits of bone strewn across the floor. Otherwise, icy floor. What are you all doing?
Let's move a little bit further in, see what we can see.
Y'all can go ahead and roll initiative.
You've been waiting for us to leave those tringers alone so you can fight us, haven't you?
I mean, I'm wait for you guys to make choices.
I'm only playing with you. Ooh, so close to doing it right, Jamie.
Yeah. I mean, you say like roll something, so then I go look for it on the character sheet to click it. I just never think of clicking on anything first.
What's your dexterity on Ezekiel? 11 or 12 or 12 or 13?
12.
So as you all round the corner, there is a snarling wolf that is just around the edge, and its paws are level to the ground. Its hind legs are outstretched, and it looks like it is preparing to pounce as it snarls at you. What are you going to do, Paris?
How far away is this thing?
25, 30 feet?
All right, so I can run up on it.
Make a dexterity check. You can indeed run up on.
Okay. I'm gonna yell "Ah!" and run at it with head first, seeking to headbutt it.
Unarmed strike.
You're gonna like fall and like land in its mouth and it's gonna just swallow you.
Yeah.
Somehow the wolf's gonna pluck her up and fly away.
It just kind of moves to the side of your head.
All right, then I'm gonna hit it.
Unarmed strike.
No, I got a mace. Does that work?
As far as I know, you have to attack before you can do an unarmed strike. So if you run up and you're going for a headbutt, that's going to be your main attack.
Can
And
I
then from
do?
there, you're doing like your actual bonus attack, which is only unarmed strikes.
Okay, can I do another unarmed strike then?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay, have at you.
Solid hit.
That's a really
Anything
big
else?
wolf.
It
No,
is
I'm good.
indeed quite a large wolf. Ezekiel, you've seen your friend run up head first, kind of missing the wolf, and then just smacking it right on the snout.
Like, are these squares like 25 feet or something? I can't remember.
The squares that you can see are 10-foot squares.
Okay. So with difficult terrain, if I have 15 feet of movement, can I get to the wolf?
I believe that is a yes. If you were going to move, though, I need a dexterity check. You are going to fall prone as you start to move.
Paris, I will come to you. Hey!
Who are you? Me?
No, but
Is that right at the beginning of my turn? Like, can I
Yeah.
use? Okay, so now I'll just use half my movement to stand back up.
And then you can basically move like 5 feet, like 1 square. So it's a spell or a throw. That might have given you guys a little bit more difficulty last time, but I definitely fucked up on that one.
I would like to hold my shield out in front of me, and I will utter some religious stuff, and then I will cast mending on my wounded ego. I will repair you, my friend. I don't think anyone saw you fall.
Your ego feels better.
Okay, does that take my full action, or can I still make an attack?
You can leave your ego wounded and make an attack. But to really make yourself feel good at this point, it's going to take your full action. But, I mean, what else are you going to use mending for?
I suppose I will throw my spear.
It just kind of like plinks off behind the wolf, and it's just kind of like scattered in with the bones.
Great. Wounded ego and no spear. I will complete my turn in sadness.
Fate, what are you going to do? Your friends are doing a great job fighting this thing.
Nailing it, guys, and I'm gonna shoot my crossbow. No, sorry, my short bow.
Show them that beautiful bean footage.
21 to
Solid
hit.
hit, 9 damage.
All right, and then I'm gonna move around the corner and hide. There. Look out for the bones.
Yeah, so just do a stealth check there.
Nice.
23. Oh, cheers. That's my good rolls done for the night, though. All the best.
It is going to step up to you, Ezekiel, and as it bites onto you, it is going to do rushing it 7 piercing damage, and make a strength saving throw for me.
That's a lot.
It's kind
Level
of
2.
pointless. You are going to fall prone.
What's the orange thing?
It's his spear, and it's going to go to you, Paris.
Does he look dead?
It does not look dead. It's moving. It's actually currently biting your friend and shaking his body on the ground.
No, I meant my friend.
Are you under 50%?
What?
I'm not under 50%, but I am a little dead on the inside after that pathetic turn.
He's looking fine.
How do you think I feel every week?
All right, I'm gonna smash at the wolf. I'll try to take out like a foreleg or something.
Mace life. Solid hit with the mace. Definitely cracking one of its legs. It certainly seems injured at that point.
All right, and then unarmed strike.
As it kind of hobbles out of the way, it's just enough that it moves right out of your striking distance. Ezekiel, you are on the ground. Thing is biting at you from above. What would you like to do?
Can I just stand back up? Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, I will get back to my feet, and I don't have my spear now. Just let's see. I'm going to put like my arm out in front of me, like the wolf would like bite onto my arm, presumably, or whatever, aka just reach out and touch it. And I will say to the wolf, "This will be your last feast, my friend. Rest in peace." And I'm going to cast that spell that kills the wolf, hopefully.
Inflict wounds.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Make your spell attack. As you reach out for it, it's snarling over towards Paris, and you are unable to make contact.
Damage would have been crazy there, man.
Yeah, inflict wounds is brutal for a level 1 spell.
If I just have a little more movement left, I'm just gonna move slightly closer towards my spear.
Yeah, so it's like that one space. Yep, exactly. Technically, I need you to make that dexterity save, though. Or check. Oh, shit, Fate. I need you to make a dexterity check as well. Yep, you're going to fall prone again, so you can stand up for half your movement, but you can't actually.
I'll make it, but I wasn't really anywhere near the bones, but okay, I'll make it anyway.
It's nothing to do with the bones. It's everything about this cave. All right, so it's going to you, Faint. You are hidden behind the rocks. You hear the commotion inside. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna pop out, shoot, and then go back round the corner, back against the wall to hide again. So I'll roll all that.
So this should be an advantage.
Yeah, boy.
Solid hit. Deal another 12.
Ooh, a bunch of natural ones there. 2 natural ones in a row, but yeah, stealth for 8.
Is going to step away from both Ezekiel and Paris.
Oh, good.
I'll attack it when it steps away. I think I would have to do an unarmed strike unless I can pull out my javelin and stab it, or say that I did that at the end of my turn.
I don't think you took a free action. I think it would make sense for you to have pulled a javelin. Paris, as it runs away from you, how do you kill it?
I will smash at it with the mace and see if that works enough to turn it into more wolf jerky.
It indeed falls to the ground and is ready to be turned into more wolf jerky.
Does it look like this is where it lived?
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say that this is indeed a wolf den that you are inside of.
Is there any sign of any other wolves?
There is not.
All right.
BRB bio.
I would like to cautiously try and walk across the ice without falling embarrassingly again to recover my spear.
Yeah, I mean, effectively for most stuff, it's simply just time related to have shit like that. That's why I should have made you guys do it for the combats. But I definitely mistook the slippery ice as a reason to move in difficult terrain. I failed to see that there's the DC to actually fall prone. Yeah, I'm actually going to step away for a quick break as well to go to the restroom real quick.
So we've pretty thoroughly explored this area here.
Yeah, at this point, you guys have done a pretty good job going through these caverns. And aside from the potential of throwing the wolf meat inside of the stew to cover up some of the human meat, you're pretty confident that you've done a pretty solid job.
Yeah, let's get some more wolf meat. Also, was it a bigger wolf than usual?
Looked pretty big to me.
I don't know what than usual means because I don't recall specifically what wolves you've battled in the past.
On the
But
walk
this
between
is
two of the 10
indeed a
towns.
large. Yeah, but again, I have no recollection of that. This is indeed a large wolf.
They seem pretty keen to have something other than fish. I don't think it's a bad idea to go ahead and carve off some pieces of the wolf. So can I do a what medicine or whatever I need to do to try to like butcher the wolf?
Yeah, you guys could do either. Yeah, nobody's got survival, so yeah, none of you all have any of useful skills here. You could do a medicine or you could do a survival.
Are any of you proficient at cutting up meat? Perhaps you can give me a hand.
Nope.
Yep, none of you are prepared for this. So you do a pretty good job avoiding the organs, and taking actual muscle. How long are y'all investing in this?
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
I'd say we want to get back to the fishing village by dark, except it's just permanently dark. So I guess I want to know how long. Is it noon or is it afternoon or what?
Roll an intelligence check. It's sometime around the middle of the day.
Yeah, I'll spend like maybe a good hour or so.
Let's see. Let me have you roll a d4.
Thank you, Oro, for providing us with this creature, that it may give us the substance we need to live in your lands.
You're able to get 25 pounds or so of fresh muscle from this.
I start carving off the head. Don't know if you want to do. Well, it'll be 8 each, I guess, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then go ahead and just like divvy that up or whatever and head back to the boat, I think.
Yeah, good idea.
Just remember to write down that that is just fresh wolf right now. That is not prepared to stay, except for that you guys are in an icy wasteland. So as you all head back to the boats, what is it? You came out in one boat. You have the other boat with the frost giant skull. What is your overall plan? Are you just heading south along Lake Dunashire and looking to keep up with the coast? Are you? What are y'all thinking?
Well, we're pretty much done here, and we've got 3 heads to bring back. So why don't we just head back?
All right.
Yeah, probably just take like the most direct route back. I don't know if it matters, but we do have that harpy's body too. If we want to take that.
Or the head of it.
That's 4.
4 heads are better than 3. Everyone needs to know just how great we are.
What's the overall plan? Direct route? Do you want to go just straight into the water? Do you want to keep the coast in view? Just heading south?
I like keeping the coast in view. I don't
Yeah.
think we're gonna capsize, but want to make sure it's not a problem.
Well, it's more if we have the coast in view, you can use it as a landmark to find your way to it if we're going, through the darkness, even though, you know. But yeah, using the coast in view will take longer, but we've got a reference point the entire time to make it round.
So who's
Sounds
leading
good.
the boat?
Was that sorry?
Who's leading the boat?
Should we do the same thing? Ezekiel up front, Jamie in the middle, and me at the back.
It's fine with me.
Let me get a survival from you, Ezekiel, with advantage. So y'all are pretty confident as you head off. You are keeping the coast vaguely within view, moving in the most direct route that you kind of have in mind, back towards Easthaven. And at times, you're basically just like losing sight of it for minutes at a time. But usually it's the type of thing where you're in open enough water and it's just kind of waiting for the snow to sort of break around you, where you do get views that you're keeping steady along that path. And you feel pretty confident as you all move along that you're doing a good job heading back towards Easthaven. Let me get another survival. You find yourselves making a good pace here with the winds at your back. You actually make back to the icefall pretty soon, and you're pretty sure that you're probably just around like an hour or so outside of Easthaven, and you guys can basically bring the boats back up onto the ice, and you are basically now dragging them behind you all. Let me do another survival check.
Everyone?
No, at this point, you guys basically have nominated Ezekiel to lead the party. Yep. So, about midday here, where you guys are starting to feel a solid level of hunger about you. It's kind of the situation where, like, you could expect for the actual darkness to kind of come on, like the darkness of night to come on at any given point here. And you guys are making sight of Easthaven. And eventually you make it back to the docks where you set off with Imdra's boat, and have a pretty good feeling that you guys are early evening making it back into Easthaven.
Quite the adventure. I think it's good to be back. I did not anticipate that, but I would call it a success. Are we like at docks where we can basically like just tie up the boat and leave the one we found too?
Yeah, so when you all came out here, Imdra took you out to the long dock that splits there, and basically gave you like that boat. So you all can basically dock up back in that same spot. You have your boat behind you, and you can either head back with that and kind of drag it through town, making your way back to town hall, or you can leave it there. It's kind of up to you guys at this point what you'd like to do.
Was the boat they gave us like docked over here, or did we like drag that with us when we came?
No, I've got that one circled. Like the one that they gave you is the one that I circled there.
Okay. So like when we came here, it was parked though. The boat was already parked.
Yeah, there's like a few boats that are actually frozen into the ice, including like the Easthaven ferry that is actually frozen into the ice. Yeah, realistically, I guess all of these boats on this map are actually probably frozen into the ice. And then the boat that they gave you was just something that was like set up next to the dock. More or less, they tie them off to the dock to keep the wind from blowing them away.
Well, we can either fetch a messenger or we can just drag the boat we found with the heads in it back. I think that would be sufficient proof that we have accomplished our deeds.
Yep, sounds good to me.
So drag the boat back to the town speaker and chalk this one up as a completed quest, hopefully.
I think so. I mean, we got a shitload of heads to show off, haven't we? And it was the town speaker that gave us the quest, so yeah, I think so.
So as you all kind of drag the boat filled with the heads up through the ice, there's not too many people in town. You do cross paths with 3 people though, who are absolutely shocked when they see the frost giant's head in this canoe, and you just see as they kind of like they were walking towards you, they eventually get up to you, and then the boat's behind you, and they all just like walk to the other side of the street as they figure out what's inside of the boat.
I'll like yell out to them as they walk away. Yes, that is correct, my friends. Spread the word. We are the great heroes who slayed the frost giant and the evil witch, as long as they wolf and harpy. We have resolved the situation with the fishers of men, and no more will go lost in these lands. Spread the word that these lands are safe with our presence. And that's it.
Yeah, emphasis on the It's not quite safe yet, is it?
Exactly, I must agree. It's still definitely not safe, but slightly safer.
They were the ones taking our fishermen.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Basically, the hag was like, well, they were going in the cave for refuse, and then the hag was eating them, and I think she used the undead frost giant to kill him, and then, yep, unfortunately, she was eating them, but no longer. We killed the frost giant, killed the hag, and we killed the giant wolf as well, but he wasn't really relevant to it.
He was eating them.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to tell you that, just in case, you knew one of the fishermen that went missing, but yeah, really fucked up situation. She was really powerful, but we got her for you. You're safe now. Well, fishermen are safe.
That's horrific.
It's not nice.
I had some family go missing recently. I hope that's not their fate.
Were they fishermen?
Oh, they were at times heading off onto the ice to fish for food, yes.
I give him a sort of solemn smile and I offer him my water skin with ale in it. Well, she's not going to hurt anyone else anymore.
This is frozen. What is this for?
It's booze. Booze doesn't freeze.
If it's ale, it's definitely frozen. You can tell because it's rock solid.
Well, squeeze the bag a bit, break it up, and drink it like a slushy.
Ah, yes, it's still just a block of ice. I think you've mistook what's going on here.
Well,
But thank you for the cold compress. I don't really need it. I think I'm going to lay down. That was a lot to take in. And I'm just gonna walk away solemnly.
just gonna let him go.
So you all can make your way to the town hall. Eventually heading inside, you will once again meet up with Imdra, who is standing beside Daneth. And in the process of kind of coming inside, are you all bringing the boat inside with you?
Does it smell really bad because it's full of like severed heads?
It probably doesn't smell astoundingly good.
That'd be frozen though, wouldn't they? Wouldn't be too bad. This is a feudal town. It probably stinks of shit anyway. I just permanently imagine D&D just smells of shit.
Yeah,
Perhaps
probably
we
doesn't
should,
smell good.
perhaps we should leave this outside the doors and just get their attention. I'm not sure that anyone would want this inside their place of business or home.
Oh yeah, sorry, I misunderstood. I didn't think we were talking about bringing it inside. Definitely don't bring it inside. No.
Yeah, so I think we'll just leave it right outside the door and then like get going and get her attention.
So as you walk inside, again, you'll see Imdra and Daneth. Daneth is still treating with some people from the town. As Imdra's attention is drawn towards you walking into the door, she'll step down from the higher platform where they are and make her way across the room, and she will greet you all. It's wonderful to see that you have returned. You are all whole still. News. Do you have any good news for us?
Tell her, brother Bones. I watch as a fly lands directly in Ezekiel's mouth and then flies back out again. I go, yeah, so basically, we've solved your fisherman problem. It's a bit of an ordeal. There was harpies out on the lake, but we killed a few of them. And then turned out the real root cause of it was that there was a hag living in a cave off to one side of the lake, and she seemed to be, whenever they went in there for refuge to hide from the cold, she was unfortunately killing them and eating them. She also had a frost giant with her, which was an undead frost giant she seemed to have charmed or used some kind of necromancy to put it under her control. So we killed the frost giant and we killed her. We also killed a giant wolf. We brought you all three the heads of them and also a couple of harpy heads as well.
That's quite an impressive story. Let me see these heads that you speak of.
Of course.
She's just looking over you all.
Of course. We brought back a boat as well. Definitely no more trouts out in the area and other things than fish to eat. Or I think its name was something like that. I can't remember. It's on the side. Right out front.
That does not sound like a familiar name that any of our boats are registered with. But yes, we will head outside. And as she steps outside, she's gonna gasp. You can kind of tell that there was still some level of she thought you guys were bullshitting. And she'll just be like, we should probably bring this boat behind the town hall. Yes. And she's just gonna move towards the keel. Eventually, kind of seeing the rope over there that you all have been dragging it with, she's going to start to make the way around like the north side of the building and take it down between the building that is kind of behind it, and basically bring the boat in that little space to keep it out of view. And she'll kind of set it there as she takes a moment to look over the name. Yes. This is actually more familiar. This was one of our missing boats. So that answers a lot. very unfortunate. But you've done well. Thank you all very much.
The problem is, it was a job, and we wanted to help out. We wanted to help you and your town. You seem like good people, and we're happy to be here. But just as a care point, there were some more giants frozen underneath the ice, and there might be some more harpies out there. So I don't know if you want to somehow plan for the harpies, but the wolf, the giant that was alive, well, undead, and the hag are taken care of. But yeah, and I'm sorry for any of your people you've lost.
There is an old legend of the giants coming down from the spine of the world and finding their rest in Lake Dinashare. Perhaps you have found this legendary cave, and perhaps that is why the frost giants were there.
About how long have they been coming down from the mountain from?
People have told these legends for as long as Easthaven has been here, many hundreds of years. Whether the giants have come down in our lifetimes it's not clear. It's a legend, a story you tell to your children to keep them from walking away in the night.
Maybe they came down here to die or something, like an old cat. They knew it was their time, so they left the mountain and wandered here like it was some kind of religious place. We also saw some kind of thing for oral, didn't we, right, Ezekiel?
Yes, there were some strange cave carvings on the wall for telling this same story you tell to us, I believe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was also apparently some kind of folklore about a wailing woman in the cave, but it was just the wind around some rocks. So if anybody's worried, you can tell them from us that there's no danger left in that cave, at least for now. Can't say that something won't move in there in the meantime, but the wailing noise was just wind and rocks.
Well, you all have done well. Your service is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. And she vigorously shakes all of your hands.
I shake a hand back.
Nod and smile.
After I shake her hand, I'm gonna smell my hands to see if they still smell from like the poking all that dead stuff.
Smell remarkably like knucklehead trout.
Okay, perfect.
So you all are back inside of Easthaven. You have accomplished at least something they were in need of. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna continue to stand in front of her, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go and just hold my hand out awkwardly.
I'm going to warm my fingertips with my thumb tip together.
Are you developing a bronchitis? Do you need a hot drink to help your lungs?
And I'm gonna open up my bag that I keep my money in and like pour out my like 4 copper and 2 silver in my hand. I believe you had spoke of a sizable reward.
We had to
I
consume.
don't remember speaking of any reward for you.
I remember a reward.
I distinctly remember there being a reward, yeah. And I mean, all things considered, we did consume a lot of resources in that, so we're down quite a lot on equipment and things. So, some appreciation would be appreciated.
Got expenses to cover.
Oh, very unfortunate. What did you expect?
Oh, didn't we exchange some gold with you for platinum a day or so before?
You did indeed.
So maybe a little bit of gold as a thank you would be appreciated.
We could potentially give you as much as 5 gold apiece.
Per head. Each.
Can I do an insight check? Like, is this person trying to like screw us over right now? Because I definitely feel like we had like a not laid out exact reward deal, but
I mean, if I said anything about a reward, I don't remember telling you guys about a reward from her.
Well, we all
I
remember it.
That doesn't mean it happened. It could mean that you guys are greedy adventurers who are trying to get a reward.
All right, but we all remember it.
Yeah, I remember it as a job. I don't remember the amount, but I remember it being a job. Basically, yeah. If you go and find out about these fishermen, then yeah, they'll be. And it was shortly after we exchanged the gold.
None of that sounds like they mentioned a reward.
all right. So, do I need to like insight check to determine if she's trying to screw us over, or like what's the deal here? Because I mean, I don't think probably too many people would be like, "Hey, do you want to go try to stop a problem that we're having for absolutely nothing?"
Yeah, I've got nothing in the notes of mentioning a reward from her. There's nothing in the actual campaign about her offering a reward. So unless there's a particular time that you all think that there's a mention of reward, she doesn't have one in particular. So what do you actually want to say in this conversation that is not you coughing and hoping she offers a reward?
But what did I say?
She offered you 5 gold pieces for what Fate said.
Yeah, so that's 5 gold pieces per head each, right?
15 gold total.
Or there's 5 heads in there.
Well, I suppose 5 gold is better than nothing, but it does not surprise me now in hindsight that no one took on this quest anytime sooner.
Yeah, seems like this place is in need of some extra help, and I kind of feel a little bit insulted by this. I mean, we all nearly died, and we took on something extremely deadly there, and we saved a lot of lives and solved a mystery. But if that's what you really think is worth our time and our effort, then I guess we should take our gold, have a drink, and head on our way. I'm sure there's other towns that'll appreciate us a bit better.
We never discussed any sort of payment in the least bit. I was unaware that it was all that you were looking for. I was under the impression that you all would perhaps be finding something to satisfy your needs for gold in the battles ahead of you.
No, we found some copper, a little bit of silver, barely anything at all, really. Oh, I think we found a gold piece as well, but again,
Make a deception.
Hey, we put our lives at risk, and also we have expenses.
Adventurers always put their lives at risk, and that is how adventurers get quite rich, by finding wealth and many things in a lost cave of the frost giants.
Wait, did we actually find anything in the cave? I felt like we never found anything.
we found 10
Yeah,
gold
well-
split between 3 people.
Yeah, we had a little bit.
So did we like miss something? I felt like we were like exploring pretty regularly, or at least trying to.
No, this has just been a fucking massive waste of fucking time.
Perhaps you guys missed something. Perhaps there was something full of a bunch of human flesh that you just walked past. If you all feel that you did not find a sufficient reward in all of the wonders that might have been in an ancient cave of the frost giants, we recently burned a wizard alive. I could offer you one of his trinkets.
What about basic gold?
Well, it depends what the trinket is.
15 gold. I can offer you 15 gold.
And a trinket?
No, your choice. One
What
of a
was the
wizard's
trinket?
trinkets, or do you want gold?
Take the gold.
Well, I'm more inclined for the trinket, but I'd like to know what it was first. What is it, a ring, an amulet, or what?
Are any of you arcane users?
Bones here uses some spells sometimes.
So she'll pull out a scroll piece of parchment and hand it over to Ezekiel. Is this of any use to you? And as you open it, it is not. It's written in a language that you do not understand.
Unfortunately, it is not. So I suppose we will just take the modest gold reward.
The other item that we confiscated from him was this bag, and she'll pull out a small gray bag.
Look inside of it and see what's in it.
It's empty.
Uh, is it like magical or do something, or is it literally just a small gray bag?
You can do an Arcana check. You have a sense that it is magical. You're not quite aware of what it might do.
I'm not really familiar with this bag, and I'll look over at the party. It appears to have some sort of magical abilities, so perhaps we should take it over the 10 gold. It should be more valuable, I would think.
Sorry, my headset disconnected. I have to change batteries in it. But yeah, so it was a scroll, and was it a bag? But did we find out what the scroll was?
Nope, none of you can read the scroll.
The scroll we couldn't use. The bag is magical, but I'm not sure what it is. But I think we should take the bag over 10 gold.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, it was 15, wasn't it? But yeah, I think so.
All right, if you definitely think so. I don't trust any of these magic things.
I mean, we're pretty broke, but it's got to be worth more than 15 gold, I'd think.
Yeah, that, and we take the boat back to the cave and go and loot them corpses.
No, me telling you that you guys left loot there is super meta knowledge. I tried to give you guys plenty of clues that that cauldron was something that you should have taken.
It was gross. There were like body parts and stuff.
And that was why you guys left it.
Yeah, I didn't read into that at all. I thought you were basically trying to get us to eat human for your own sick amusement.
Was it like an elaborate looking cauldron that looked valuable or something? Or did it just look like a big metal cauldron with food in it?
Fate got the insight that it was a well-made, nice cauldron. But overall, no. For most of you all, like, the smell was of a really, really fine meal. And then it was simply one of the final clues was him walking away from it, and he was thinking, whatever you said about it, that was where you got that last chance, where it was like that last moment of like, but it did look really, really well made. So you all can take the bag, and she will kind of bow to you all. And, well, I hope it treats you all well.
Thank you. Hopefully, we have secured some safety for your town. And perhaps we will meet again. But we will stay one more night and then be on our way, I believe.
You are most welcome in our town. You have done us a great service, and for all that we have to offer, it is wonderful to know that you are here to protect us for what you have.
Of course. Thank you. And have a good day to you.
So for now, whoever's taking the bag, just write down small gray leather bag.
Ezekiel, you want it?
I'm honestly not sure what it does, but perhaps if we spend some time with it, we can figure out what it is exactly. Or perhaps there's someone who can have a look at it.
Yeah, chuck one of these in it, and I throw a ball bearing to him. We can test what happens with that.
You just want me to put the ball bearing into the bag?
Yeah, see what happens with it.
Okay. I will do this.
Just dropping a ball bearing inside of it.
Sure.
You drop the ball bearing inside.
Keep it on you, see what happens.
I will do this. So I'll just like secure it to my side or whatever with the ball bearing inside of it.
So that's all you're doing. You're just dropping it in and then going on your way. Let's see. Indra's just going to say, I feel like you guys said something vaguely to the point. Damn, I forgot what the comment was before the ball bearing. If you are... Shit. You said something that made me think of a wizard. If you are searching for someone of the arcane arts, you might be interested to search out Le Fouine. She is in her tower in the east side of our town. You should be able to find her at work all times of the day. And she's basically going to kind of point off far to the east, and you'll see like a ring of trees that surround a tower that peaks up well above all of the actual buildings in the area. The tower itself is probably only about like 60 feet tall, but it's on like a little hilltop on the east side of town.
All right, sounds good. There is still some daylight, depending how tired everyone is. Perhaps we could pay her a visit before we relax.
Yeah, sounds good to me. We may as well ask a few questions.
All right.
So heading over to the wizard.
Sure.
So what are y'all doing when you arrive at the tower?
Is there like a front door that we can knock on?
You walk around the tower, and it does not appear to have any doors on the ground level.
Daggum wizards never have doors.
Just seems to be like a stone monolith, about 60 or so feet up. It's got like a little bit of I think it's called castling, where it's like almost like the teeth at the top of it, so somebody can kind of look over the edge.
I don't see any door, so to speak, but wizards and their magic, perhaps it is concealed or they have some way to shape the stone at will. How like wide around is this? Like radius or circumference?
I think it's probably about like 60 or 100 feet diameter. Let's see.
So I guess I'll just like walk around and look for something that looks like a kind of like magic or concealed door, sort of like feeling the stone if anything stands out or anything like that.
Yeah, it's like a 40-foot diameter. So yeah, walking around and kind of feeling for things, you can do an investigation. Or you could do Arcana. What's your Arcana bonus?
+0 instead of -2.
So you don't have like a solid sense of where it would be, but you do eventually kind of come to the conclusion that if you were going to put a door, it probably faces the west because most of the town is off to the west there. But still, you guys are not finding a door here.
I feel like she give us the wizard's name. What was it? Did anyone make note?
Frosty.
Are there windows?
There are not windows.
There have to be windows.
I would like call out to the random wizard.
So after you call out after a minute or so, somebody is going to, you'll hear like a little bit of like a creak, and somebody kind of peeks over the top, and you'll see somebody looking out from above. Yes, hello.
Yes, hello, wizard. Imdra has sent us here, said perhaps you could take a look at an item for us that you may be able to get to the bottom of what purpose it serves.
Oh, yes, of course. Be right there. And you hear the same kind of creaking sound. And a few moments later, you see as a just portion of the castle, pretty close to where you all are standing, just kind of moves back pretty silently as they welcome you inside. And this is probably the first time you've really ever seen somebody who is not in particular wearing any sort of clothing that is like built for warmth. They're just in
Naked?
wizard robes. Nope, they're not naked. They're just in wizard robes. Kind of same thing you would expect almost if you were in like a warm climate. This person is just in kind of like a soft, kind of gossamer purple robe. Hello, Imja sent you. What was your question?
We had hoped that you could take a look at this item for us, and perhaps you would know its purpose, or it would have some value that you could let us know about.
Good, good. Let me take a look at that.
I have a scroll as well. Perhaps this would be of some use to you. So I'll like show her the bag, and then also the scroll that we found.
What was the scroll from? When was that?
Oh, it was on the dead harpy.
Gotcha. Yeah, so she will. Who took the healing potion from that?
Yeah, I guess I have a healing potion, 4 large gems, and a scroll of hang on, frost, I think it was.
Yeah, so she would be pretty quick to be able to say, that's aventurine, and those are obviously pearls. Um, and kind of unrolls. I think the paper, the scroll was actually around the potion. So assuming she kind of unwraps the scroll to take a look at it, she'll see the healing potion and just kind of shakes it a little bit, and you can almost gather she's checking like the viscosity, like checking the legs of it. And she kind of hands that back to you. She's like, "Oh, that's a nice quality healing potion for you there." And yes, this is for a ray of frost. Quite a useful spell, if I do say so myself.
And what of this pouch? What is it?
Just give me 1 minute. Um, you know what? If I can, let me. Yes, here we go. And she's gonna pull out a pearl that is about 3 times as large as any given one of the ones that you all have, and starts to cast a spell. It's going to take her a few minutes to cast, as you all are basically standing around inside of the lower level of this little building. You see that the stairs lead up to 1, 2, 3, 4, and just you keep looking up, and every 10 or so feet, there's another landing, and you just kind of get dizzy as you're looking up that there's more landings than there is certainly space inside of this tower. And after about 11 minutes goes by, what are you all doing while she's casting a spell over this time?
I'll check to see the ball bearing still in the bag okay.
Are you reaching into the bag?
I guess so.
Or are you looking in the bag? How are you checking?
I'll look into it at first, and then I'll reach in to get it if I see it.
There's nothing inside of the bag when you look into it.
Alright, I'll reach in to see if I can feel it.
It's furry.
What is?
You feel something furry.
Meow?
I pull out the furry thing if I can, or is it fur lined?
Roll a d8.
One.
You have a small weasel in your hand, and it's just kind of looking at you, just kind of like hands kind of together. Its feet are like curled around a little bit, like its back hind legs, and it's just kind of like squirming with its hands to like reach out to you.
So wait, is this while she's casting the spell to identify the bag? I thought she took the bag from us.
I mean, if she doesn't have to, like, she needs the bag to be essentially in front of her for the casting. It doesn't necessarily interrupt it for you to go into the bag.
Oh, okay.
Nice, weasel meat.
I hope it didn't eat the ball bearing. I don't see it in there. But maybe we should just let her resolve her spell and see what it tells us. We already traveled this far.
Yeah, it's fine, but I think I've cracked it. It's enchanted with the essence of weasel hiding.
Of course. While we wait, perhaps one of you would take this potion. It serves me little purpose. I'm already proficient with the healing, so it would be better served on one of your presents or persons.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take it, and if you go on your ass, then I can get you back up again.
Of course, of course. You can keep the weasel, though. I don't want to make a trade.
I shall name you, weasel, small weasel in a bag.
Perhaps you should wait until you get to know your little friend, and then in time, you can find a name that suits it.
I'll name him Faint. No, wait, that's my name. Hang on. Maybe you're right.
So yeah, I'll give you the potion, and then I will probably just snack on a little jerky, try to like defrost my wine a little bit or my beer a little bit, and have a drink.
Oops. As she kind of comes back to finishing casting the spell, she's just going to kind of tap the wand with the tip of her, or tap the bag with the tip of her finger, and you'll just kind of see like a smirk cross her face, and then she'll kind of look back over you all, see the weasel in Faint's hands, and well, perhaps you've already figured this out. This is a bag of tricks. You should be able to pull out a friend once a day, and perhaps don't always do it inside. They won't always be so small and agile.
So what, this weasel's gonna disappear in a day or what?
As long as you don't kill him, you'll have a friend for a day.
Nice, we just keep pulling more and more animals out of it every day until we've got a horde. I give the weasel a little bit of
Well, you'll have a friend for a day.
And what do you mean by each time? Like every day you will pull out a random creature? Is that what this bag of tricks does? Or sometimes it's items, sometimes it's creatures? I'm confused.
It's always a creature, yeah. If you just reach in when you're in need, you'll find yourself with a small little creature in hand, and as you pull it out of the bag, you'll find out which creature it was.
That is very strange. Thank you for having a look. And of the scroll, do you have the use for such things? I'm not sure that it suits us as well.
Oh, well, it's not a spell I require, but there certainly is value to such things. Ah, I have 2 platinum here. I could buy it off of you.
Yes, I suppose it would be probably much more valuable if it was like a scroll of warmth, not of frost ray. But I think 2 platinum seems like a good enough deal. If you, and I'll like look over at the rest of the party, see if they seem cool with that.
Let's give one nod.
2 platinum and the services you have provided for us as well seems like a good enough deal.
So you all can move further to determine who takes the gray bag of tricks. If you search in D&D Beyond under items, you should be able to find the gray bag of tricks. If you don't manage that, I will add it at some point after the session here. And then, of course, you guys are more than welcome to take 20 gold instead of the 2 platinum to kind of sort it out between you all. But that is for the scroll. The party loot list should be relatively updated for you all. You've got the 4 gems in there, and then the gray bag of tricks to kind of separate amongst yourselves.
Do you want to both take 7? I'll take 6 gold, and I'll take the bag because I know I'll remember to use it. But it's not very good action economy. Actually, no, it's good action economy for me because I only get 1 attack per turn. So if I have to use it in battle, it's not too bad.
Well, the problem is, though, is you have a lot to use your bonus action on. On some level, all 3 of you realistically are characters that it's going to cost you a lot to use because you give that creature instructions using your bonus action. It might be best on Ezekiel, but you are a cleric who has a lot of bonus action economy. Faint, you have your, realistically, rogues and monks have the same kind of bonus action competition where you have like 2 of the classes that always have a bonus action choice. But that's just kind of a decision for you all to make and kind of figure out where it might work best.
I am more than comfortable with you hanging on to it. You can see how it suits you, and we can improvise from there. But you seemed rather excited to have a weasel friend. Perhaps next time it will be something more imposing and could suit you well in battle.
Yeah, it's great. Think about it. We get to not eat trout once a day.
I'm not sure that eating the creature would give you substance or that that's what it's intended for, but whatever you choose. If you want to bite the head off of a weasel, that is your choice. Uh, you there, wizard. Uh, is there somewhere in this town before we leave that someone would purchase these gems from us? I'm not sure that these pearls are necessarily are something we're interested in.
Oh, well, let's see. I could give you 6 more platinum for these here.
6 more platinum, you say?
Oh, yes.
I don't suppose that you would have any other gems. Perhaps we could do an even swap for.
What were you searching for? have some useful components.
I suppose it's probably not likely, but I don't suppose you would have any diamonds.
I could possibly spare a diamond for you. It's perhaps a good deal smaller than these.
So what would be like the equivalent value of said diamond?
Basically doing a quarter. So it would be a 50 gold diamond.
Versus what 6 platinum is 60 gold?
Yeah, and effectively, like if you took the platinum and wanted to buy the diamond, she's going to charge you 60 gold for the diamond.
And just out of curiosity, obviously still a ways away from it, but how much value in diamond do you have to have for Revivify?
I believe Revivify is 300 gold in diamonds.
What do you guys think? Would we rather have 60 gold cash money, or I mean, I don't know how hard it's going to be to get diamonds up here, but it may be worth trying to stack them up just in case.
What can you do for 50 gold diamond?
Probably nothing. I mean, the main goal for the diamond would be to start collecting them for one day potentially needing Revivify. Just because I figure it might be hard to get diamonds up here when the time is needed.
We're not going to die. Just because I have every other week. We're not going to die.
But again, I mean, I'm open to either one. It just came up to me that we might be able to swap with like a wizard that's interested in gems, as where later on that might not be an option. So securing 50 gold worth of diamonds is probably not going to be easy if we need them, and especially if like someone dies and then we need them afterwards, it's probably going to be extremely hard. But if we started stacking them up now, might not be a bad idea. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, sounds like an idea. I mean, obviously the gold will go a long way at this point because I mean we can even buy simple things with it if we can. That would really start to help, with kitting out our characters with just basic items that we haven't got. But I think starting to move down that path might be a good idea. Actually, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty 50-50, isn't it? Because I mean, we get the diamond, we can't do anything with it yet. But if we get equipment, we can do stuff with it now. And what's to say that further down the path we can't just suddenly buy like a 300 gold diamond or whatever?
The only thing I'm thinking, I totally get what you're coming from, and I'm okay either way as a party making this decision. The only thing I'm thinking is we're in like the Arctic, and it's going to be hard to try to get stuff when we want it. And this is like we're in a big town, and we have the possibility to get a diamond, which may not be possible very often while we're here. So that's the only reason I'm just trying to look ahead. But again, I mean, we're level 2, so even if we got level 3 from everything we did, we're still well away from ever being able to even use the spell. So
Yeah, it's fair enough. Just go with the diamond and then call that.
Wait, well, the whole thing with Revivify, don't we need to be in a city that's got a big temple? Because I don't know that that's even here.
No,
that's a
Sea Hag
spell that I would get at level 5.
You
So
have
we're
1 minute to revivify somebody. So if you need to get somebody back from death, you need to have the diamonds on you ahead of time. Otherwise, that's come and gone.
What
That's why
about
preparing for it is the intelligent thing to do.
restoration? When do you get lesser and greater restoration?
Those do not bring somebody back to life. Lesser doesn't have the cost, but greater restoration, I think, is 6th or 7th level.
Yeah, I know it doesn't bring anyone back, but I was just wondering about because I know that costs diamonds as well.
No, they don't. The lesser restoration doesn't have like a diamond cost to it, and I would get that at level 3, potentially. But there's another one called Gentle Repose that I could potentially get that would buy us some time. But again, I don't know, one, if I was planning on taking it, and two, if we need diamonds, it's probably going to be harder to try to get 300 diamonds all at once, especially in like a time crunch. As where if we found 50 here, 50 there, we might be able to find 100 or 200 at one time if we needed it. More
Yeah,
like. But I mean, again, I don't really need gold for anything other than food and stuff like that. And I already like took everybody's gold to make those rings. So I'm completely good giving you guys all my cash money for whatever you might want to get along the way. And, just potentially preparing the party for a revivify should we need it.
Yeah, I'll go the diamond and just split the gold like normal, and we'll just do our usual thing that if one of us comes across something that we need, that we just pull together.
Are you cool with that, Jamie?
Yeah.
Well, I think that is more than a fair deal. I would appreciate the diamond. If you would take the pearls in exchange, I think we have a deal.
And the adventuring, all 4.
Wait, what was the last thing?
And the adventuring, it was 3 pearls and an adventuring. It was 200 golden gems for the diamond.
Wait, what was the last thing you said? An adventure ring?
Adventuring.
I think it's a gem.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear you actually say that. Okay. Of course, my friend. And perhaps we can throw in a weasel if you like as well.
Weasel's just going to disappear in a day, so no thank you.
Yeah, but you could eat it. Think about
You really
nibbles.
can't. If you kill it, it's going to disappear.
Or if you eat it alive.
Please get out of my castle. Be gone. And she's going to disappear.
Should we leave the weasel? I'm not sure. Did we have a deal there? Perhaps we'll just take the weasel and go.
I
Okay.
think it disappears.
I'm gonna write down a diamond worth 50 gold.
Yep.
And we each took. You took 6 gold there, and then
Yeah,
we're
you both took 7.
7. Okay.
Yep.
Do
So
I have any gold? I'm confused.
Yeah, 7 gold had it. The reason why I also wanted to bump myself down 1 gold is because when we split the copper and the silver, I gave myself 1 extra silver and 1 extra copper just because I can't obviously split silver and copper. So.
And then Jamie, you should have also gotten 3 gold from before, so you should have 10 more gold added to your inventory.
Yep, and 43
Damn it,
silver.
I wrote it in and it went away.
If you scroll up, see what I wrote, you get that, and you get another 7 gold now as well.
All right, thanks.
It was 43 copper, 33 silver, and 3 gold. From before, from him. So I think 43 copper, 33 silver, and 10 gold total.
Well, perhaps we should go relax. We can find a warm, hot plate of trout and some ale. Maybe secure a place to rest tonight.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Yes.
So you all are aware of a tavern north of where you are, and the White Lady Inn off to the west.
There's the one with the sketchy guy where we was trying to facilitate a scam of the seance. To the west entrance.
Yep, White Lady Inn.
Well, we may as well go back to the one we already know.
Yep, it had that lovely fish.
Should we head back to the White Lady Inn and partake in the scam? Or perhaps we could visit the fabled tavern that people come thousands of miles to see, that I have heard such great things about. The Wet Trout. Did you just add that to the map, or was that already on there?
Already on there. Yeah, I've been sharing the DM maps because it's too much of a pain in the ass to hide the towns, And it just looks so much better having the actual DM map versus writing in the names.
There's something strangely alluding about the name Wet Trout. So, would you care to stop off for a drink? Perhaps they have some other non-trout food there as well for you.
It's
Paris.
literally called trout. based
Why
name.
would they call themselves the wet trout and have anything besides trout?
I'm not sure. Perhaps it's one of those strange, deceptive names. I had a friend when I was younger. They called him Tiny, but he was a very large man. So perhaps it's similar to this.
I feel like irony's lost on this.
There's only one way to find out.
Sure, let's go check it out. Or at least we already know what the White Lady Inn is.
I imagine you all interlocking your arms together as you dance over to the wet trout, singing about wet trout.
It's a little hard to interlock arms when you're like half somebody's height, though.
You don't get to walk, you're just getting lifted up. So off to the wet trout. Y'all are probably a short, like 10 or so minute walk away from it. As you head towards, there's din of a little bit of music inside. It's getting close to the end of the aurora. You're seeing some of the last kind of like scatters of light across the sky. And actually, no, you know what? This is picking up into a blizzard, so you really don't have a view of the aurora itself. So as you're kind of walking up from the tower, the winds are roaring pretty strong. You have a pretty good sense of where you're going, but you all are able to make your way up towards the water, finding your way to that last of the piers there, and make your way into the wet trout. Upon entering the little tavern, there's not a whole lot of people in here, but there are probably like 7 people. Out of it could probably fit about 20 or 25 people. It's a little bit smaller of a location, but this is very clearly an actual tavern. There's like plenty of space for sitting at the bar. There's a bunch of smaller tables that kind of circle around, and then a back area that seems to be like maybe the kitchen. And you will see a older man behind the bar who kind of looks over as you all enter, and he'll wave you up. Shut the door behind you. Welcome to the wet trout. Oh, new folk. Welcome to town. My name's Miskin. Nimtra. It's a pleasure to meet you. You are? He's got his hand out over the bar, looking just towards any of you all at this point.
Hello, my friend. My name is Ezekiel. Thank you for welcoming us to your fine establishment. Why does that name resonate with me? Nimdra. It sounds familiar.
Have we met before? Don't recognize you too well, but have you come by the trout?
I don't believe so. Is that your first name or your surname?
My family name's Miskin. My skin, Miskin. That's me.
Do I recognize that name or did I just make that up? For some reason, it sounds familiar.
I feel like you're making it up.
Okay. Perhaps I am mistaken. Maybe I knew someone in a previous life by this name. It's just rang a bell for some reason. But anyway, these are my friends, my adventuring party, my companions.
Alright, I'm Faint, and this is Weasel.
Oh, hello. That's an actual weasel. That's one of your friends?
Yeah, he's a new friend, but yeah, he's not gonna be around for long.
That doesn't make anything less frightening. Well, hello, weasel, and he's going to reach out and kind of shake one of its paws.
That's so typical Weasel. He's so like that.
And he's gonna like lean over the bar. And you are.
Hi, my name's Paris. I don't eat as much as they do. Actually, I might.
Oh, coming in for a bite of dinner. Well, y'all are gonna be pleased about this. We've got some fantastic fresh caught trout.
I don't eat as much as they do.
It's wonderful trout stew. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It's got knucklehead trout, a little bit of pine needles, and some broth from last night's trout.
That sounds wonderful. I would love some of your fresh-ish trout. One of my favorites since I have come to this land. Also, some drinks if you have some honey mead for this one and some ale for the two of us. And I don't suppose that you would be willing to do me a favor for a couple of coin. And I will pull out the like backstrap from the fresh wolf that we got. Perhaps you could make some fresh steaks of this.
You're gonna notice pretty much everybody in the bar is looking over as you bring out the wolf meat. Um, well, we could. Are you looking to trade any of that?
Well, I'm a quite generous man. I looks like there are about roughly 10 of us in here. Perhaps if you would be so kind as to prepare this, we could all indulge in a feast, maybe a couple ales as well. Something like that.
So, how much are you presenting in this idea?
I've got 7 pounds. I'm okay to like basically like the equivalent of buy everybody around, but with wolf meat instead.
So he's gonna lean over the bar and he's like, "My apologies, little lady. It appears that we're all out of wet trout tonight. If you will, and he's gonna pour the drinks for you all. Be back shortly here. It's time to enjoy some wolf meat." And there's a little bit of a cheer from everybody kind of paying attention inside of the wet trout this evening.
Of course, let us feast.
So he's going to step into the back and he'll be gone for a little bit here before he ends up kind of coming back out front. But you see a pretty lively crew is going to kind of come around to you all. Some of them will kind of offer to buy you all drinks at different times. But one person in particular is kind of going to stick out a little bit for you all, who they're just going to a little bit rough in how. And how did you come across this wonderful boon we are to enjoy this evening? This
It was alive and then we killed it, so it was dead.
Do not let her deceive you. We were far and deep into the wilderness, in a freezing cold cave. We had just been fighting for our lives, and deep in the darkness, almost without any insight or foresight or whatever the word is I'm looking for. The mightiest amongst us
you were without sight.
and slayed this wolf. Well, there was some light from the tip of my spear, but the mightiest amongst us sprang forth and slayed this wolf in a single blow. And who would you guess that this hero would be? And I'll look over at Paris. This one amongst us, the slayer of wolves, Paris.
Certainly impressive, little one.
Thank you.
And where did you all say that you were when you encountered this? What was it, anyways?
I'm not sure that you would believe us if we told you, but we were far down the coast, taking care of some issues in town here. And right before we departed, after completing our quest, we found a wolf in a cave and killed it. But I was just trying to make it seem dramatic, but it was quite a battle.
I mean, it was a pretty big deal. There was a fisherman going missing around here, so we tracked down the root cause, killed some harpies that were attacking fishermen on the lake, and then we went into the cave. We killed an undead frost giant, and then we killed a hag that was the cause of the fishermen going missing. So no more fishermen have been killed by her, thankfully. But it's pretty sad. And then on the way out, yeah, we killed a giant wolf, and here we are with some wolf meat and your fine company.
That's certainly a wonderful story. I feel like I have seen those caves before, though it's been some time. It's quite intriguing.
He is a much better storyteller than I.
I mean, if you want to see the heads, we cut off the heads and they're currently in a boat behind the town speaker's place. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, but yeah, we brought the heads as proof if you want to see them.
Roll a perception for me, Fink.
20.
As you're like describing this, you see this person is clearly thrown up a mouthful, and they're like trying to figure out whether they can like stealthily like spit it out somewhere, whether they should swallow it. But this person's like stressed over, holy shit, I just vomited.
Don't swallow it. You'll just throw it back up again. Honestly, spit it out into a tankard or something, and then get rid of it so none of your patrons or the other people around here can see.
They put their hand over their mouth and they're like just gonna kind of like walk away for a little bit, and they'll come back like a minute later and just kind of sit down and trying to be like nonchalant. There was still good ale in it.
I'll buy you another, mate. Don't worry about it. And I'll flag over for one more ale for him. Happens to us all. Don't worry about it. Didn't happen to us when we were killing the things and beheading them, but yeah, happens to some of us sometimes.
Are you in the habit of taking trophies from your kills? Or is it normal for you to take their on? Never mind.
This was just for proof. We don't normally go around carrying the heads of our dead enemies.
Yeah, we're not sick or anything. It was just purely to, really help the townspeople understand what kind of threats are knocking around the town. It wasn't, we weren't trying to be, we're not doing anything weird.
Well, that's good. I've heard of the people of Dugan's Hall being terrorized, and they found many creatures with their heads taken. Many people have been worried that there's somebody take. I was worried that your trophy might be attached to whatever's been happening with Dugan's Hall.
No, no, of course not. We are but some meager adventurers, looking to do good in these lands. You may know us. We are known by many throughout these parts as the Wet Weasels. And I'll look over at the two of them to see, like, what do you guys think of the Wet Weasels?
I just sort of shrug and go with it.
I'm gonna roll my
Didn't the
eyes.
wet weasel freeze and die pretty quickly?
Yes, you're right. We are known by many across the lands as the feared and powerful Blizzard Buddies.
I shrug and go with it.
Uh, we were previously known as the Devourers of the Yellow Snow.
I believe it's golden.
I think I have one of your cards on my ferry, actually.
Aha, I knew you had heard of us. Yes, we are great adventurers throughout the land. Spread word that if you do wrong in these parts, we will find you, and we will make you eat the golden snow. Or, if you're good, you can join the Blizzard Buddies.
I heard a lot about these people who force others to drink and eat the snow that is yellow. It sounds quite horrific.
It's excellent if you like lemon or banana. We have both flavors to offer.
Yeah, we used to do a nice pear one as well, but it wasn't really quite on the yellow scale enough. It wasn't, the gradient didn't quite fit the description, so we chucked that one out. Stuck to banana was our sort of bread and butter, but you can't really get them round it. I digress. I'm sorry.
Yes, the pear one did not quite fit in as well. It had sort of a green tinge to it, almost as if you consumed too many vitamins and then took a pit. Never mind, never mind.
Wait, you are not associated with the Goliath of Kelvin's Cairn? Makes people eat the yellow snow? It's not flavored like fruit.
Oh no, that is much different. No, I'm not sure. I think you have us confused with someone else. I've never heard of this the Goliath.
Yes, it might be confused. I've heard there was a recent expedition to try to find the yellow snow eaters.
No, I was just using you as a test subject. We are toying with some different names. We had tried some previous ones as well. The animal ones just don't seem to hit home in the same way. We tried the 50-foot kittens. I was experimenting with the wet weasels. Obviously, the others we spoke of as well, but we're still looking for something.
50-foot kitten sounds pretty good, actually.
Yes, it did pretty well, but overall, when we tested it, it was so-so with some and the others, and we had to do quite a bit of explaining, so it's not desirable.
Yeah, the focus groups responded best to Blizzard Buddies. They said it was relevant to our current environment and also sounded friendly, whilst also drew upon the fact that we as a three are friends, so it went quite well.
Yeah, so far I think it has the most votes, and overall, like you said, the focus groups have responded well to it, so perhaps that will stick. We'll see.
But it's Goliath, though. Is he somebody who's got loot and shit, or what we talking here?
Oh, I thought it was you. They were yellow snow eaters.
No, but I'm confused about what flavour his snow would be. Yellow, I'm trying to think, like some kind of hops and barley ale based, or honey based, maybe.
I think it's more ammonia. Are you all not from Targos? You are not the adventurers? Climbing mountains? That's not what you do?
No, that's not us. We're new to the 10 towns and we're just sort of travelling them at the moment, enjoying Oral's sweet, bountiful lands.
Oh, my mistake. Perhaps you are not as infamous as you imagine.
We did climb a mountain, though. We went and fought some. Wait, shit, did we kill? No, they were dwarves, weren't they? They were Duragar. We killed them.
You are mistaken. There's no Duragar in these lands. They live underground.
Well, there
Oh,
aren't any more.
well, yeah, there was definitely some Duragar above ground. They were up to the north of insert name. I haven't got my notes open. Yeah, just north of there. And a couple of our friends unfortunately fell in that fight. It's a Care Koenig maybe. And yeah, so there were definitely some Duragar there. They came down from the mountain, or from the underneath the mountain. Not too sure why, but they're dead now.
Up by Termalane. You have been to their mines? Is that the Duragar? I heard their mines were shut down.
No, I didn't go to the Dwarven Citadel. No, it was I think just slightly southeast of there. I'm checking. I don't know why I haven't written the name of it down in my notes. I'm pretty sure I did, but I can't see it anywhere. But yeah, it was slightly north of Koenig, that's for sure. But it wasn't a Dwarven Citadel. No, there was things going missing from Koenig, so we went on a little adventure to find out who was stealing stuff. And sure enough, it was a Duragar. going invisible, sneaking into town, taking shit. So we killed them and took all the stuff back for the town.
So you are not the yellow snow eaters. You have not reopened Tourmaline, and you do not take take heads from the people of Dugan's Hole. I fear I have not heard of you, but I am excited to taste wolf this night.
Yes, I can see why you're confused. Similar names, but no, we weren't the yellow snow eaters. We were the devourers of the golden snow. But we dropped that name. We're now blizzard buddies. But yeah, we also went up a mountain, and did some stuff and helped things and killed things to help people. But it's definitely, I understand why you're confused. But yeah, wolf meat for all.
But in the future, if you should hear the name the 50-foot kittens or the wet weasels, it's probably because we got a bard to join the group and started our own band.
50-foot kitten sounds like a frightening band. But the Wet Weasels, I think that's a good band name. I think you could really get behind a lead singer of the 50-foot Weasels. Wait, the Wet Kittens? The Wet Weasels. The 50-foot Wet Weasels? That's actually rather frightening.
Devourers of the 50-foot wet weasels.
Well, when you figure out what your titles are, I would be more than happy to advertise for you on the Easthaven ferry if we are ever able to reopen the trade routes to the cairns. It would be good to have some fresh advertisement for some new folk. I guess we are not advertising for you as is.
And what is your affiliation with the ferry? We have heard that it is shut down because of the ice and the trade route is blocked. I'm curious, though. You have referenced it multiple times. What are you, the captain or just crew?
Captain and owner, yes, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Sithon.
Really, a pleasure to make your acquaintance, my friend. I have heard much about you. Your reputation precedes you, my friend. I am Ezekiel.
All good, I assume? Heard about my generosity?
Of course, all good. Regardless, the service you provide is spoken highly of and missed in many areas around towns. We have been, where was it? Care Konig. They were very sorry that they can no longer procure the ales from Goodmead, and your ferry service is probably going to be the death of them if it is not taken care of soon, as without the ale and other supplies, their town is clearly dwindling.
R'll be damned.
Probably not good to speak like that.
You'll see as like 5 of the people inside of the tavern kind of look over as they say that. Now, fuck you all. Your bloody god is destroying me.
Well, yeah, about that, we've come up with a bit of an idea about fixing your issue there. Are you familiar with boats with skis on ice?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
Well, it's a pretty standard thing that some people do in environments that are prone to freezing over for long periods of time. Is instead of trying to sail your boat through a frozen lake, which you can't do, obviously, you instead attach wooden skis to the side of it like pontoons, and then use your sail for wind power, and you just glide across the ice instead of sailing through the water.
Why don't you just get sled dogs and put them on a sled?
Yeah, but do you have sled dogs on a sled? You don't. No, you use your boat and you put skis on it. You're done, sorted. Depends how big your boat is, though. I might need some big skis if it's a big boat.
Or you could have it pulled by a 50-foot weasel if you should ever come across one. but careful if it gets wet because it can be dangerous in the cold.
Yeah, that's why we're no longer called the Golden Weasels.
If you all choose a name and stick to that, I think you might be able to perhaps be heard of before. If you change your name continually, it may be difficult.
What do we agree on then? The Blizzard Weasels? The Golden Blizzard Weasels.
Blizzard Weasels actually has a good ring to it.
Blizzard Weasels it is then, guys.
I think that still sounds like you're changing your name again, though.
Are we gonna put this on business cards?
I have a wall on my ferry that is filled with business cards, so don't forget me. Sit on Easthaven Ferry. We will advertise for you.
What about the promiscuous yetis?
Aren't yetis rather monogamous? I thought they mated for life.
I think that is penguins. Perhaps you are mistaken, but I can look into it some more.
Wait, the male yetis don't sit on the yeti egg?
I think they are mammals, so they lay babies like normal, similar to humans, but more hairy. But again, I will look into it more. I'm just spitballing. Anyway, I don't suppose that you have procured someone to correct your problem and right your business where Oral has done you wrong.
Do you know a dragon? Like, what am I going to do to melt ice?
Just glide over it. Skis.
That's called a sled. I don't have any dogs, don't have a sled.
Or you have a boat and you put skis on the boat and you're done.
I'm not sure he asked us a temperature on our wolf. I was hoping to get mine like rare to medium rare. I suspect by now it's probably well done, or he's eaten it all and left.
Comes out of the back, and he definitely looks like he's got the meat sweats. No, I definitely
Bob's.
assume that at some point he came back out with the meat, and he basically would serve everybody like a small actual steak, and then essentially come out with the stew a little bit afterwards. So he kind of prepared like a little bit of each.
Is this an inn too? They have rooms here?
Nope, just the tavern. So, in general, you all are more than welcome to do what you like, but what do you all have in mind as you push forward here? You're more than welcome to continue to roleplay, or we can actually move the story on. What do you all have in mind?
Are we supposed to switch to a different town?
In the morning, I think it said we're going to head out, didn't we? But yeah, I don't think there's much else for us to do here for now.
Yeah, I'd say so. Probably go back to that other place, get a room, crash for the night, hit out in the morning.
So, where are you going?
White lady.
No, I'm trying to think like bigger picture. Where are you all going?
How many days have passed since we left our little stop off point, like our diversion point?
Good mead, was it?
Yeah. Since Good Mead, what's it? It's only been 2 nights, right?
Yeah, I think You guys were there on Shez 4th, and you will basically be waking up here on Shez 6th.
Okay, head back there and do that quest thread.
Yes, perhaps we can head back to Goodmead and see if they have found any resolution to the new speaker and perhaps investigate the loss of their previous party and the mead as well.
Here's that, and then after that we've got Dugan's Hole for this Goliath issue, and that's next to Goodmead.
Yeah, that's F. Yeah, that sounds good. That would be us basically. We did I and J, Care de Naval and Care Koenig, and then we've done Easthaven now. So then that would be Goodmead, and then yeah, that would be perfect. Go to Dugan's Hall next.
Yep, so Goodmead first for the political dilemma, and then on to Dugan's Hole for the Goliath dilemma. 50-foot golden dilemma, weasel buddies.
So what was it? I think it was 5 silver to sleep in a room, and it was 3 silver, 2 silver to sleep in the barracks. What are you all doing at the White Lady?
You two could take a room and I'll sleep in the barracks again, because I just have to meditate, so.
Do you sleep?
No, I just meditate for 4 hours a night. Sleep is for the weak.
What will you say his name again? The captain of the boat.
Sithon.
I've spelt it as Sithon.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, a room for me in Paris, I think, and then you do your thing again since you don't sleep.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And that way I can keep my ear out of any noise, but I doubt it inside there, but there we go.
So what time are you all looking to head off towards Goodmead?
Can we get up and have some breakfast and then get going? So whatever time we wake up, and then 1 hour to eat and get ready and then go?
What time are you waking up? That's like for you guys to tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, I think like first thing in the morning. I'd say we're pretty early risers. I just like for me with the experience, like I think that when it's dark all the time, you're probably less likely to be like staying up real late, and you're probably like more likely to be waking up early, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, we're not going to bed particularly late, are we?
Nope,
Who
you
knows?
guys basically went to the Wet Trout around 8 o'clock at night, around when the Aurora first like broke. So you are at the very start of the night when you started drinking. Depending on how things went, yeah, you guys are having a pretty early night.
Yeah, so I would say like whatever, 8 in the morning, probably by the time we've like eaten breakfast and head off the road.
Sounds good. Can we get a weather forecast? Is it supposed to be clear weather?
Blizzard.
Should we hang out for a
Side of
while?
blizzard. No, if you want a weather forecast, the answer is always snow. You guys
It's
don't have a
always
druid
blizzard.
who can actually check the weather. Almost like I have a random encounter chart and I roll for stuff, and it happens randomly.
So are we fast forwarding to morning? Are we doing a long rest?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to do anything else, you are more than welcome to. But yeah, I was trying to push things forward to perhaps get you to Goodmead, basically. But yeah, you are welcome to take the long rest.
All right, long rest it is.
Excellent.
Well, I feel much better having slept. I dreamed of real food.
I'm gonna like ask Faint in the morning if he noticed when the weasel disappeared. Was it 24 hours later, or is it like at sunrise, or how does the bag of tricks work?
When are you meditating?
Basically, as soon as we all go to bed, so I'll be up 4 hours earlier than everyone else.
Roll an intelligence check.
Why does a rogue need to meditate?
It's because I'm
A
a
rogue doesn't. He's an elf. Right at sunrise, when the aurora starts to fill the sky, you're pretty sure it's right at about, what, 5:30 in the morning, basically, that all of a sudden the weasel's there, and then blink, it's gone.
Oh shit! Where you going, Weasel? I'll just pull another one out of the bag in a bit. You're still there?
Yep, just generating a day for you all.
Otherwise, it was just because I hadn't heard anyone at all. That was all. Just making sure.
Nice weather. Balmy.
All blizzards.
Yeah, my bad. I was eating, so I was taking the opportunity to like stuff my face there.
Unacceptable. Never do that again.
Fish only.
I was eating weasel steak.
0 calories.
It was surprisingly unfulfilling. I'm still just as hungry as when I began.
Do you want to take a quick break whilst we're doing this, or we're going to keep going?
We're running out of time, so I'd rather just stick to it. You guys
Fair
are
enough.
more than welcome to step away, but... So, who's leading the party on the way to Goodmead?
I mean, I can do it again, but you know what my luck's like.
Roll survival. So you all head off into the snows around 8 a.m. when you leave the White Lady and start to head off towards Easthaven, feeling quite confident that you're on your way to new and greater things. And as that hour kind of wanes on, it seems like the winds are picking up, the snows are picking up, and within a little bit of time, it seems like you all are in another whiteout. It seems like a blizzard is striking.
I think it snows a lot here.
Yes, I think had we foreseen the weather was going to be this bad, perhaps we could have stayed one more day. But honestly, that place kind of sucked. It was a big town, and there were some cool things, but they literally were ready to watch us get murdered by kobolds and offered no reward for saving their town from fishermen getting murdered. So, not exactly the best place. Hopefully, Goodmead is better.
Yeah, that townspeaker was a bit stingy, but there we go. At least we helped some people out at the end of the day, so and we feel pretty good about getting those kills. But we did get a lot of help, but there we go.
It did work out quite well in the end because you have the bag of weasels.
What did you just say?
The bag of weasels, the mysterious bag that he reaches into and pulls out the weasel from.
Yeah, Enchanted weasel bag. That's why that guy got burnt to a stake, right? Too many weasels, I think, probably, from the looks of things.
Enchanted weasel sounds better.
The fuzzy womb.
So as you push on into the morning, let me get another survival from you.
Sorry, cats on my mouse. 18.
As you all push on, it's not long before you realize that apparently you're right outside of Easthaven. You walk past the guard station as before, and it seems like for that last hour you were definitely lost. And you push forward, and now you're confident you're gonna make it to Goodmead today. And you start to hike off into the night, or into the darkness of the blizzard.
Apparently, the rumors are true that if you are right-handed, over time you will walk in a circle.
I thought that was one leg longer than the other.
Could be that as well. Perhaps we should use your magical weasel to guide our way.
We could use it, Tringa.
As you all push forward, do another survival.
$21.
You're pretty confident as you're heading out on the trail that you are following the east way and making good speed towards Goodmead, and quite hopeful that you're going to be able to make it in good time here. When you are ready, do another survival. So part way through the trip, you all are going to be moving off of the east way as you start to make your way towards Goodmead, and you feel relatively sure that you're keeping track here. But after a while, you do start to come over paths of tracks ahead of you, and you're starting to wonder if these are the same tracks that you all would have left. It seems to be a group of 3 who are passing in this direction, who seem to be heading in the same direction as you, and they also are wearing similar sized snowshoes as yourselves. And you take a few moments to stop and really question things. You're going to see, as there appears to be a mountain goat that's just inside of you about 15 feet away from you to the southwest of you, that just seems to be staring at you from the snow.
We can't keep doing this.
Oh, you can indeed.
No, if we keep going around in circles and don't find shelter, then we'll just freeze to death and die.
It's not even cold today. Stop complaining. We're almost there. Rub your little hands together. You'll be fine. Hey, is that a goat over there?
There's no almost. We were here already. 3 times.
Were we? I think we're still headed there. We're probably very near, actually. Hey, goat.
Moo!
The goat's just standing there. Doesn't seem to be reacting.
I clap my hands together as loud as I can.
Do a
Might not be a real
performance.
goat.
21.
Clap your hands together, and it's audible above the blizzard sounds of the wind and of the snow swirling about, but it doesn't have the same snap that you would kind of expect in an area where you actually had something for the sound to like reverberate off of.
All right, I reach into the bag and I go, right then, it's weasel time. And I pull out an animal.
Roll a d8.
2. Which I believe is a giant rat.
Yep. You pull out a big old rat, and what are you doing with it?
Oh, it's in a fucking weasel. Anyway, go scare that goat off. And I tell the giant rat to go and chase the goat.
Goat doesn't move as the rat runs up to it.
Just keep going, bite it or some shit.
The goat's going to stomp on your rat, and the rat disappears.
Right.
Is the goat just like standing there?
Still just standing there after it stomps out the rat.
Is it like a giant goat? Just a regular goat? Does it appear to have like any markings or domesticated like collar or anything?
You can move closer to it to try to gain a view, but from the distance, like about 15 feet, which is like barely visible inside of the blizzard, you can see its horns are like swirled around it in a spiral, and the horns are probably roughly the size of a humanoid. It is definitely a gigantic goat. It probably stands roughly 10 feet tall, like at the peak of its skull.
I will get closer to the goat and see, does it look like it is domesticated? Any form of collar or anything? Is it a druid or just a goat? And I will once again yell out to the goat. A goat!
Doesn't seem like to be moving from you. It's just standing its ground at present. Roll a perception check. Yeah, when you say, hey, goat, it kind of just like stamps one of its feet.
Elapine, is that you?
Is it blocking the way? Sorry, could we not get around it?
You could certainly try.
Well, I feel like we either get charged by a goat as we try and get around it, or we go a long way around it, or we just kill the fucking goat.
Oh, so did I see like any collar or anything like that on it? Any brand, any form of domestication?
How close are you moving up to it?
I don't know, depending on the visibility. How far can I actually see?
Like, you guys are about 15 feet away from it, and that is like the most initial visibility that you have on it. I didn't gather that you were getting closer yet, so like that description was just to see if you saw other shit.
Oh yeah, I'll move like slightly closer, maybe within 10 feet or whatever. Cautiously.
I ready my bow in case it makes any kind of move to look like it's going to charge him.
Roll initiative. And with that, we're going to take a break because I'm going to set up the encounter before we do anything.
Right, cool. Just going to grab a quick drink then.
So as you all get back or prepare, you can set your tokens on the board here.
Will we like anywhere in particular?
No, you guys can just pick a spot. And once you're all there, I'll get everything kind of set around that.
Where's the goat?
Just pick a spot around each other. Right now, the goat is. I mean, I would put Paris behind because you guys are generally traveling south. So right now, it is just south of Ezekiel. But that's all you kind of have right now. It's just that relation of Ezekiel has walked closer to it than you guys are. And I would say no more than basically 10 or so feet away from Ezekiel.
Based on previous encounters and also your size, Paris, I would say there's a 92% chance that the goat tries to eat you.
Goats don't eat people.
Goats eat literally anything.
I just realized I forgot to get a ranged weapon again. Well, I have darts, but I don't think a dart's going to do much against this thing.
Goats eat like sheet metal and old tires, and you're little and it's big, so it's definitely going to try to eat you.
Don't they just basically eat grass, though?
Only because that's the most widely available thing. It's not the eating you I'll be concerned about. Anyway, it's definitely going to pick you up and fly off.
I mean, I don't think they're carnivorous.
Definitely are.
Well,
Also, this might not be a real goat.
Vegas odds are 9-1 favor that it tries to eat you, so.
Well, okay.
I definitely found a picture of a cat that came up when I searched for a goat. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this is not talking about the CR9 awakened tree.
Who's doing what with tree, sorry?
So as Paris draws his bow back, placing an arrow onto the string, the goat lowers its head and it's going to start to charge forward. Paris, what are you doing?
I will run at it and yell and swing my mace.
Move yourself up to it. 22 is a solid hit.
All right, and then I get bonus action. Did not do well.
Big ol' miss as it kind of sidesteps and just deflects your palm with its horns. If that is everything from Paris, it's going to faint.
Alright. I'll shoot at it with my bow. Only a 9. Which I imagine misses. And then I'll move back a little bit and I'll use Mask of the Wild to fade into the blizzard.
Roll stealth. You are going to see as an incredibly large, fluffy, fat creature runs out, and with massive tusks raised high in the air, it's just kind of growling as it's going to kind of blindly slam its face downward as it strikes out with its tusks towards Ezekiel.
Wait, it's a fluffy walrus?
Fluffy as in it's gigantic and fat.
Why the fuck is a giant goat friends of a giant walrus?
And I believe that's a big old miss as it strikes out at you with a 12. I don't think that's got a chance against your armor, Ezekiel.
Maybe he can sit on him.
I am
What's your,
welded.
what's your dexterity, Ezekiel?
Like the modifier is +1. The number is 12.
Gotcha, you're up next.
Okay, I will. I will reach down into my component pouch and pull out like a little small vial of water, and I will like dip my fingers in it and like flick some water into the air, and then I will say, "Bless me and my friends that we can destroy these foul creatures." And I'll cast bless on the three of us.
No bonus action.
Nope, that's it for today, or for this turn.
Goat is going to smack out at the little creature in front of it and try to bash it with its horns. 16 should hit. 16 is going to hit you, Paris, and it's going to do 10 bludgeoning damage to you.
Ouch!
You're going to see as a big evergreen tree moves up past the goat, and without actually recognizing why a tree is going to move, you're going to see as the top of it swings down at Paris, and it's going to smack into her, and this might be a dead Paris.
Is the goat friends with a tree?
It's doing 34 bludgeoning damage to you. How many hit points do you have, and what's your max HP?
Well, I have 10 left. I 20 total, 20 max.
That is an insta-death. Do you have a backup character in mind, Jamie?
No, but I think it'll be bigger.
You want to roll somebody and jump into this fight? Otherwise, we might pause it at this very moment and just pick up from here next week. There is going to be a big old reindeer that charges at you from the west, and it's going to drop its head to strike out. Yeah, it's going to drop its head, and it's going to do the ram attack to strike out at Ezekiel. The big ol' miss. And then, again, I think unless you are ready to actually roll a character right now, Jamie, I feel like this is where we'll just stop and we'll bring you in with a fresh character at the start of the next session.